Dancing may not be as essential to life as breathing, but we have all at one time or another moved our bodies to music. Why do we dance? For happiness, community connections, or to feel a part of the universe? Perhaps all of these. And certainly there are scientific evidences that point to the release of happiness hormones when we dance. Almost every culture on earth has a dance tradition. But in this program, our focus is on Indian dance and its journey. Dance in India has very ancient origins. Many of us are familiar with the dancing girl statue from the Indus civilization, or Nataraj, the mythological lord of dance and drama, trampling on the demon of illusion as he dances his cosmic dance of creation and dissolution of the universe. Indian classical dances have roots in the Natya Shastra, a treatise on dance and performance arts.
Tadim dirana, udani tadani tani tadim tadim dirana, tadim tadim dirana, udani tadani tani tadim tadim dirana.
Most, if not all, Indian classical dances are based on stories from Indian mythology. And as above, so below, the Indian folk dances follow the rhythm of the seasons and celebrate the circle dance of the universe. The popularity of Indian dance, particularly in the form of Indian film or pop dance, has influenced dance forms in many parts of the world. Aided with the programming on various streaming services, Indian dance has traveled to distant shores. In this program, we aim to understand our primeval need to dance and how Indian dance fitness found a strong foothold in US gyms. To unravel this cultural seep, we followed an Indian dance fitness outfit, spoke with its teachers, and connected with its growing community. We first sat down with Raka Agrawal. Welcome, Raka.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So I'm going to throw it out to you. Why do we dance?
I think we dance because we can. Dancing is easy for all of us to do. It doesn't require any special equipment. it just makes us feel good. You are allowed to let go of all of your inhibitions. And in my classes, I have kids who attend. I also have 90-year-olds who attend. So it's for anybody.
Okay. Why do you dance and teach dance?
I dance because of the freedom. I feel free of stresses. I feel free of judgment, and I just let go. I'm excited when I walk into a class to teach. I'm also rejuvenated after teaching, and I hope everyone in my classes feel the same way.
So something about the physicality of it?
I think there are very tangible physical benefits to dancing. You get your heart rate up, you sweat. Cardiovascular health is really what I focus on in my day-to-day career. So it fits together very well.
And so I want to read from my notes here. A study by Swedish researchers found that teenage girls who regularly danced had higher self-esteem than girls who didn't. This is probably because of the self-confidence. Absolutely. As you move, you get more self-assured.
I think people can let go.
I understand that you're a marketing professional in a healthcare industry. So how come you're teaching dance?
It was never my intention to become a Bali X instructor. After 20 years at the same company, I decided to leave my job and took a Bali X class on a whim. And, I realized, and my husband actually supported me in this, that I really enjoyed going. And I really felt both mentally and physically rejuvenated, which is what I needed. I needed a revamp in those areas of my life. And so I was the student that would go to these classes, who would stand in the back corner, not trying to draw any attention. But Tamara Codner, who is the director of Bali X for the Bay Area, was the instructor. And she was persistent and asked me to train to become an instructor. And I realized I enjoy it so much, why not share it with others?
So first you were a student?
That's right. I was a student for a few months, and there was an upcoming training. So I attended, I got certified, and Tamara does a good job of linking us up with opportunities. If there are new classes that are starting, there are only so many that she can teach. So she really engages with the new instructors and gets us ready to really start our own classes.
This is Bali X, let me get that right. Bali X comes from Bollywood, which is the counterpart of Hollywood, and the B comes from Bombay film industry, and which is now called by its original name, Mumbai, right?
That's correct.
When did you start teaching?
About 7 years ago. I started at the YMCA and have taught in other places, but I keep coming back to the YMCA. It is the place that gave me my start. I was a very inexperienced fitness instructor, and they said, I'm going to give you a chance. And so I'm very loyal to them. I love that they're an inclusive environment, and they support families as well.
Yeah, I see mothers doing their exercises and the children are in a playroom, busy playing and all. I love that family supporting environment, which is where I met you. But yes. 2016 is when you started. So that means there was the pandemic. And what did you do during the pandemic? Did you stop teaching or?
I actually continued to teach, but taught virtually for the YMCA. I didn't know how that was going to evolve or what that was going to become, but essentially they made it an incredibly safe environment where we would have one other person in the studio who would turn on the camera. And then I would walk in, she would walk out. We wouldn't make any contact. And I taught into a camera for many months. That's where I met this woman, Kathy. She was the first person in a class of about 80 students would join. She was one of the first people who turned on her cameras, and she would have this smile that would light up my room.
I felt we had this special bond through the camera, even though I didn't know her, but just the smile on her face, I felt like we had a connection.
How many students were there online?
So the YMCA was really generous. They offered these classes to members and other people for free.
Oh, okay.
So we would have maybe 80 to 90, and my goal was to get to 100. And I think we might have gotten to the upper 90s at one point. And then, they're a business, so they had to start charging. And that's when it started to taper off. I would say regularly we would have about 50 people, which is still quite a few.
Quite a few. Post-pandemic, did the people from your online classes come into the gym to dance with you?
I started teaching outside. And so this is pre-vaccinations. Once people started to get vaccinated, we started to migrate to indoors. Dancing indoors on the right gym floor is really good for your knees, your feet, overall. So we made the best of the situation that we could. I would say 3 years later, post-pandemic, we have members that were pre-pandemic who are coming back to classes in the gym, reintroducing themselves, and really realizing doing things in person, there's a different vibe. There's a different energy. There's that social component that you miss doing it online. So it's been amazing. Classes are growing every week.
I'm from Malaysia. I came to know Bollywood from when I was little. I saw a movie that many years ago, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, and I love the way they dance. There's a lot of song, like Chamacello. I love it.
One of my favorite songs is actually Boom Padi from that movie Majama. Such a great movie. I've seen it like 20 times. But the moves are so beautiful. It's got this lovely arm motion in it, and it's so joyful and vibrant. And I just really think about that when I think of Bali X, just joy.
Vimahi is a song that the first time I heard it, which was during COVID online, I cried because it was the most beautiful song I had ever heard in my life. Raka would use it as her cool down for each class, and I was so grateful for that as well, because that brought me not only joy and happiness but also a sense of tranquility.
There are many ethnicities in that class. They must not be understanding the songs.
There is emotion involved in dancing. There is a social aspect involved in dancing. The beat is strong, and I think all those things outweigh really understanding the lyric. Everyone's in sync and everyone's hooting and hollering and just enjoying themselves.
You use songs from many languages of India: Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, Punjabi. Of course, the Bhangra songs are in Punjabi. There are songs from the Mideast. There is Caribbean music as well, and salsa beats and all.
Yes.
How do you choose your songs?
I think for me, I review what choreographies we get that month. And if there is a song that resonates with me that I think would be liked by the members, I try to represent them. And so there are times when I've even incorporated Beyonce or K-pop. And, just those sparkles of surprise, I think people really enjoy it. Also, I modify my playlist if there is an Indian festival, songs related to Holi or Diwali, or if it's someone's birthday, I have a song for that as well.
Are you classically trained?
I am. I took Bharatanatyam for a number of years when I was younger, when I was a kid. And then I did a lot of folk/Bollywood dancing growing up because my parents held these Holi and Diwali festivals where we would do multiple dances during those festivals. And, I give them a lot of credit because they came to this country in the late 60s and they wanted their children to be connected with our culture. And I'm so thankful to them for that.
How often do you practice a new song? It seems flawless to me.
So I'm an engineer by background. And I think about the patterns. I listen to kind of the repetitive beats of the music. And then I listen to the songs in my car. I do a lot of driving with my kids. I don't actually perform the song from beginning to end at home or anywhere else. I just visualize it. And then I bring it to class. And you've seen, I mess up a lot. I think we can all relate.
So when you say you first watch it and then visualize it, Bali X gives you some choreography to dance?
That's right. They give us 5 to 6 new choreographies every month. They have a few instructors that are videotaped, and they have a portal. And they show people actually performing the song. So you can see, hey, are these steps that are simple enough for my students to enjoy and get a hold of really quickly? And that's the goal. The goal is not to perform at the end of class. The goal is to really just be in the moment and enjoy the workout.
So how often do you introduce new songs?
You know, I have a playlist. I'd say a 60-minute playlist maybe has 15 or 16 songs. I don't change, I probably change 1 or 2 every week, because if I continue songs, then people get more comfortable with them.
They know the steps.
They know the steps, and there's something to knowing the steps. You just can let go a little bit more, versus if you don't know the steps, you feel like it's constantly changing and you can't keep up. And I don't want people to feel that way in my classes.
I remember that the song that just won Oscars, the Natu Natu song, you introduced it like almost a year back before it created all the buzz. You're up about it. How?
That song actually came out a long time ago. And it was really this grassroots effort in India that brought it to the forefront with the Golden Globes and the Oscars. So people in my class were not surprised. They love dancing to that song. The choreography is high energy, high impact. They know the counts. They say the counts. There's a 7 count in there that they know what to do. So even non-Indians come up to me and say, hey, you should watch that movie. It's interesting. People are really open-minded, and I love that.
So then I will bring in some of my kind of Latin moves, my Latin hips, and I get called out in the class to come and dance for them.
I'm also a Bali X instructor because Raka said there is a big community that does training, and so because of her I trained and became a teacher, which is amazing.
Nascent teachers, you ask them to come to the front of the room, perform with you.
Right.
What is that all about?
You know, a lot of what I do is based on my own experience. Folks that are interested in learning how to become an instructor catch me after class. And so I put them in touch with Tamra, who is the regional director, and I always encourage them, you know, come up to the front of class, teach with me, because then you'll really get the feel for how it does feel. It is different starting out. It is intimidating, it is scary, it's a lot to learn, but once you get into the groove, it's not that way anymore.
Personally, I love it that 5 or 4 of you are dancing in front like 5 goddesses. Sometimes I stop dancing just admiring the whole thing that is unfolding in front. What makes your class so sticky, so popular?
You know, it's interesting. I think besides the mental and physical benefits, and maybe this falls into the mental benefits, that social aspect can't be beat. You know, it's interesting because even my journey, I've made many friends through Bali X. People that have come to my classes, people that I've helped mentor to become instructors. There's a core group of 10 of us who keep in touch and are still very close. And I don't think I would have met any of them if it weren't for Bali X.
So there's a community aspect to it, social interaction attached to your classes. And
absolutely. I mean, you look at the folks in class who stay to chat. Sometimes I have to turn off the lights so they get the signal that it's time to move out of the room because the new class is coming in after. People don't miss these classes. They don't miss them. They find a way to come.
And I was introduced to Bali X by my friend Sophie. We're friends from a mom's group, and we were talking about how I like to do Zumba so much, which is Latin music. And I came, and it was just so fun, so joyful. It was an incredible workout. And that was a particularly hard time in my life, and dance really helped me stay centered and find joy in like a really difficult time of my life. And I keep coming back because not only is it joyful, there are amazing people here. They notice if I'm not here. They ask how I'm doing. They care about my family. And who doesn't want to be a part of a community like that?
During the pandemic, when we were all stuck at our homes, Bali X is one thing that I look forward to see my friends and dance with them. And we had That's our love language, dance. It was great for my mental health.
And beyond your class, they have built a community.
Absolutely. You know, the Bali X community was incredibly supportive of each other during the pandemic. A lot of instructors held free classes online, and we got to know each other from across the country, people that we wouldn't have normally. And we have a Bali X WhatsApp group that's incredibly active. So yeah, I think we missed the social aspect. We didn't realize how much we needed it until it really went away.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Ranjana. I love seeing you every week. It gives me so much pleasure.
The music was really attractive and was it's upbeat music, and I went there, took a peek. Everybody was exercising, smiling. So I took a note of what this class is and made sure I would come the following Friday.
The more exercise I can get, the better off I am. And to have an exercise that is so enjoyable. I could do this every day of the week. I could do this for hours every day.
It was time to understand the Indian dance fitness craze from the regional director of Bali X, Tamara Codden. You're the regional director of Bali X in the SF Bay Area. How did that come about?
Well, I have always been fascinated with Bollywood, the film industry in India. And my fascination peaked when I moved here in 2012. A year later, I attended the first Bali X training, and there was an instant connection with the leadership. The leadership resides on the East Coast, and they needed somebody to launch the program in the Bay Area. And I am just so grateful that they chose me to do this job.
Why were you so successful at starting and then establishing this?
I would have to say passion really started to drive me towards building a community. Strong communities give us a profound sense of purpose. And when we belong to a thriving community, we tend to feel a sense of kinship, camaraderie, and connectedness.
Were you trained in Indian dance?
No, I was not trained in Indian dance. As I started to train more instructors, I learned that many came from a background of Indian classical dance. And I was just blown away. And I thought, okay, what is this all about? So I started to watch videos of classical dance, such as Bharatanatyam and Kathak.
How did dancing and exercising to Indian film music and Desi pop music take off in US? Something similar to Zumba. Why is it resonating with the people here?
People were doing aerobics many years ago. And you walk into a studio and you would do movements. They were basic movements. But Zumba brought dance into the mix. And dance can be very powerful. It changes lives. And I feel like they tapped into it and they did an excellent job bringing something different to the community. Desi pop and the film industry of India brought in a different element. It actually is side by side with Zumba, meaning that there's a cultural aspect to it. And we needed to represent a different cultural aspect that combines the two. And once we brought something like that to the fitness industry, it took them back to their roots. It really opened their eyes and their heart. And I can't begin to tell you how happy that made me feel to do that.
I guess one of the reasons I really like Bali X is because regardless who the instructor is, as long as the music is the same, the choreo is the same.
What we do is try to design our choreographies to have a lot of repetition. So we look at the number of cycles, simple cycles when we try to find a song. And we try to include a lot of repetition so that you can walk into a class and pick up the moves fairly quickly, okay? You can go to somebody else's class, they're gonna do the same choreography and the movements are the same. So it really connects the dots for people. The other thing we try to do when we are doing choreographies, we watch the YouTube videos and we take something called a hook step. A hook step is a very popular move. So for example, on Patan, okay, they have a very popular move where you're doing this. We try to incorporate that movement so people get excited and there's an instant connection with them. So we really put a lot of thought into our choreography because our community really matters. And we want them to feel successful when they walk into our classes.
There is a playlist and then a mix of songs. Tell me more about that mysterious equation.
Instructors have the ability to create their own playlist. And what they do is they read their audience, which is super important. So they'll look at the demographics and they'll say, I would like to add this song, this song, according to their own demographics, so that they can set their participants up for success. Every class is different. And that's something that we've taught our instructors. We want them to really hone in on their audience so that they can set them up for success.
What is the most exciting part of your journey as a dance teacher?
For me, dance is a powerful tool, and I'd like to spread that message. Dance brings people together, regardless of age, regardless of mental or physical limitations and or cultural differences. And we learn to accept and embrace those differences. And my goal is to continue to build a strong community which is committed to inclusivity, diversity, and open-mindedness.
Do you have a creed you live by? Some message for your community?
You know, I have a couple. One thing I talk about at the end of my classes is I tell people to go out into this world and sprinkle kindness as if it was confetti, because I feel like we need more of that in this world. The other thing is I like to spread the message that life is short. If there's ever a time to follow your purpose and do something that truly matters to you, the time is now. Don't wait for things to happen. Get out there and do what you really want to do.
The allure of Indian music and dance, with its vibrant rhythms and melodies that evoke deep emotions, captivates a diverse range of individuals. However, the growing popularity of Indian dance fitness classes in US gyms can also be attributed to the universal human desire to connect, express, and celebrate through movement, as well as the efforts of a few passionate and dedicated individuals. Thank you for watching. This is your host, Ranjana Mehra. See you next time.
Raise your hand. Never, ever, ever. Okay, so everybody, walk over to them, introduce yourself. You'll have a test next week. I'm just kidding. Okay? My name is Hannah. Pleasure to have you. Today, rock or what?